Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I want to welcome everybody to the Mississippi Advisory Commission on Marine Resources meeting for Tuesday, March 18th. We're going to call this meeting to order, and I'm going to ask Commissioner Mayfield if he'll lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you, Commissioner Mayfield. Director, do you want to lead us in prayer, please, sir?
Yeah, before we go to prayer, though, I want to take just a moment, and everybody, please, keep in mind the people in North Mississippi and Alabama and Louisiana and all across the United States. He was right at 40 people or so that lost their lives in these storms over the last weekend. And we had 3 in Mississippi, and there are several that are pretty severely injured. So keep them all in your prayers because, it's just a matter of seconds. It's just a matter of seconds and when it pops up and when it's on top of you and not on top of somebody else. And just know that it's the Lord's will. Whatever it is, we got to live with it, and we don't have a choice. It's not our choice, but we just need to figure out how to work with what he gives us. So let's go to the Lord in prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to be able to have this great agency and have this commission. And Lord, we just ask that you take each and every one in this agency and these commissioners and give them the wisdom and knowledge to do the things you would have done and not our way. We ask this in Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Commissioners, do we have any questions on the approval of the minutes for February 18th meeting? If not, do we have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right. Has everybody had an opportunity to review the agenda? And if so, do we have any questions on that? If not, do we have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, Director, it's all yours.
All right. Well, thank you very much. First off, you have a public comment. TJ's in the back, so just get it to him, and we'll make sure we get it and hopefully in the right place. That's where it's at. Our next commission meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, April the 15th on tax day. So if you can make it through tax time, you can come on in here. Otherwise, if you got to be with accountant, I understand that day. But any problems with that? Okay. A little bit of legislative update. Well, our Crawfish and Seafood House Bill 602 is still in conference right now. So that's the bill to be able to put to where we have to label in a restaurant a supplier, anybody that does anything that has anything to do with seafood, to where it basically states that it is either imported or domestic. We're not really, you can put the name of the country in there. We're still meeting. We're going back and forth over that as to exactly what we're going to do. But I think that if we can just get to the point to where we have them to where it's either labeled as import or domestic, that will help a lot. And if, there may be some imports that people want to put the country on it because it might be a situation where it's a special type fish or whatever, then they need to be, and you might want to do that. So we want to be able to have that opportunity also. But anyway, that bill's there. I'm meeting with the Senate and the House, both committees, and the governor's office tomorrow. So we will go over that and see what we can do to try to get it solved out. Any questions on that one? All right, Department exempt certain leases from any county taxes. It has passed the House and passed the Senate. So I think it's going. I think that one's going to go through. I know it passed the Senate the other day and it went to the House. And the House had already passed it, so we'll see what happens. I think there's no issue about it, just be a concur. That will be to the point to the ones on the off bottom, and that's what we're talking about, the off bottom area where they lease. And if you're delinquent on your taxes, that it doesn't go back to where they sell your lease, because that's something we can't have done, because you can't sell state property anyway. So it just causes the county a lot of trouble, and so hopefully we'll get that worked out. Our Oyster Bottom bring forward code section, the 1102, and then there's a 2263 or something like that. I think, which one is that? 2263. Both of those are still in committee, and they're out in committee, but they're going to each other. They're back and forth to the House and the Senate for conference. We're pretty close on that. I think one of the biggest things that we're trying to do there, and I don't know that it'll happen, but if we get it passed and get things working, it will be that if we don't lease a bottom, that it goes back to the state and we relieve the 20% from the state. That's what our goal is, to relieve the 20%, and where the state can have public, it would be state and public land, and we could go then and put resources on it and rebuild it and have it as public land. That's been one of the things we heard from our fishermen. Our fishermen are saying, hey, we want more. You took too much of it with 80%. Well, the 80% hadn't been taken yet. So let's see where we're at, and the idea is to be able to bring it back. And if we can bring some of it to the point to where maybe it goes 60-40, maybe it goes 50-50, I don't know what it goes to, but whatever's leased, then we'll work from that point. So we're working on a couple of issues with that. I think it'll go through with no problem. I think we'll get something worked out on it. I think all the House and the Senate members are agreeable that they want us to be able to do that. That's the, let's see, the public trust titlings. It's got that one, it got tied up into 2 or 3 other bills, and I'm not really sure where it's at right now. I know one of them died, the one where it got tied into the sports gaming in the Senate, and it died. But then I think it's tied to the tax bill also. So, I don't know what's going to happen, but that's to where that everybody must pay titlings. If you have a casino and your operations and everything, it must be a situation where everybody has to pay titlings and make it fair for everyone. But that's a Secretary of State thing. We're just trying to help him with it. Any questions on legislative update? All right. Update on bottom lease. Right now, we're to the point that we have given a contract to the Horn Group, and the Horn Group is working on it. What we did is we basically sealed all of the packets, either where they came electronically or where they came in paper form, and we sealed them in the files, and then we sent them to Horn Group. And Horn Group is going to take those, and they're going to take a group of people, and they're going to evaluate them according to the criteria of what we have as to how they score them, as to their ability to be able to do on bottom oysters. We did a financial group, and that was with, who was it? PWL? Oh, Rowosa, yeah, okay, Phillips, and we did that. They've already done their work, everything financially, that if you had anything to prove your financials, it didn't come to us, it went to them. And we had it sit with them, and then they have done their grading and told them and put it together, and they've sent that to the Horn Group. So the Horn Group will put everything together, and then they will come back and they will tell us, and then they'll do the GIS as to each area as to what it is, and they'll put them after they grade them together. And so hopefully we'll have something about that in the next month. But until then, we'll just wait to see where it gets with it. And also we want to see what 2263 does before we get too far carried away with it. Any questions? All right, Bonnie Carey update. Just to give you an idea that we have a 2020 Bonnie Carey, disaster. It's just a follow-on from the 2019. This is for shrimp and oyster fishermen only. And so what we have is we have about right at $3 million, just shy of $3 million to be able to put out for that. And some of the, obviously there will be some administrative fees in it, but and it will be direct payments. Now, what we're going to do is it's going to be basically X amount of dollars for an oysterman, X amount of dollars for a shrimper that had the license, the proper license. And if they had a license in 19, then they'll be covered. 19 and 20, I think, is what they had to have, either 19 or 20. Some people didn't buy a license in 20 because there was nothing going on in 20. It was a situation where we didn't know what was going to happen to America at that point with the pandemic. But anyway, they are working at, it will be just a base payout. There will not be any supplemental to it. So that we'll look at it, and we won't know the base payout. We won't know how much it is until we see how many people apply. And I'm going to tell everyone we're going to do this one time this time. We did it, it's going to be one time, and so we're going to put it out. We're going to put it out long enough for people to have time to be able to do it and be able to get the information in. We're going to contact, if you filed in the 2019 Bonnie Carey, then we have your contact and we'll get in touch with you. If there's something you need to update it, we'd ask you to update it. If you did not file in 2019 and you want to file in this, you need to get something to us so we'll know to be able to get you the information. So we just want to make sure everybody gets the information as much as possible, okay? Any questions on that? Tracy, did I leave anything out? All right, then, all right, wildlife fisheries parks, all right, they handle a lot of our sales of license. We do sell them here, but everything goes through one big group. Be patient with them. They've got a brand new company that just started on March 18th, I think it was, February the 18th. February the 18th, I think, February the 18th. We did March 18th, wasn't it? But they started on February the 18th. And so they're trying to get things put together. There's some glitches. There's always going to be a glitch anytime you get new things. If you have a boat and you've applied for registration, you can hold your registration as long as you've got your registration there to be able to show in your boat that you have paid for it, and sent the money in. Even though your registration hadn't been updated, I think a Marine Patrol will not have an issue with that. Is that right, Captain? As long as they got the paper that shows that they've applied for new registration. If you have tried to buy a new license and you can't get it, obviously if it's been 6 months, then you'd think about it. But just think if you can show any proof that you've done it, and I think you'll get your license pretty quick. I don't think that's a big issue. The registration of boats is way behind. So just be careful with them. And if you got an issue, let us know. We'll try to help you get through it, okay? We'll try to help you if you got an issue getting any kind of license, especially for the charters or anybody else, and that y'all do this for a living. If y'all do something like that, if you got a problem, let us know, okay? Any questions on that? All right, February 24th, February 26th, Gulf States delegation trip. Went to to D.C., and we met with the NOAA Fisheries, and we met with Wildlife to talk to them about what we look at for the future. And I can tell you right now, I have more clues than they do right now. I can tell you that, because they don't know. They are day to day. Their day to day is to decide whether or not they're gonna, this department's gonna be here, or this department's gonna be here, or this part of this department's going away, or anything else. I got told yesterday by my son, that, and he's in the civil service world, and he said that they did stop the mandatory probationary leave, that making them leave. They did stop that. So they put a halt on it right now, so they're not making everybody that's on probation to have to leave if you hadn't already had to do it. So hopefully they'll put a stop to some of that, and that'll help. But anyway, that, and we don't know our grants. We get a lot of grants, and our grants come through Wildlife Fisheries and also through NOAA. And so we're just going to have to see. I tell everybody to be careful. Use your grant the way you have today, the way it should be done, and as always. But let's just be careful about it and understand. And we don't commit to something in the future, because we don't know the future. We'll figure that out. We will know something in the next few months, and then we'll figure it out. But anyway, any questions on that? All right, March 3rd through 7th, I went to the South Atlantic Council, and I sat in for the Gulf Council through the South Atlantic Council. And I spent a week in Jekyll Island, and it would have been beautiful, except the weather was horrible. And it was pretty cold there, and it rained, but it was nice. It was a beautiful place, never been there. But the point is, it was a good group of people. Got to meet a lot of good people and talk to them about different things. And I can tell you right now, I got a lot more understanding of the Gulf Council after watching it. And they've been fighting snapper since 2009 and still don't have an answer. They don't have an answer on how many they can catch and whatever since 2009. At least and I mean, they're frustrated. Don't get me wrong. They're not happy about this. And they say it's just a fight back and forth. So, but I did learn a lot of things about how they do things compared to how we did them. And I'll take that back to the Gulf Council and talk to them about it. But it was an enjoyable trip. March 10th, the groundbreaking for the ceremony for the Mississippi State University MS Agriculture and Forestry Station on Highway 57. Basically, it's going to be a new lab. Big lab, and it's something that we helped fund with it. We funded some of the equipment and stuff out of Go Mesa, to be able to help buy that. This is one of the things this will help us do. You remember in 2019 with Bonnie Carey, and we was trying to, when we had the blue-green algae and we had the other things going out into the water, we was trying to figure out, were they safe, or was it safe? Was the fish safe to eat? Was it crab safe to eat? You know, what was it? We didn't have to worry about oysters because there wasn't any. They were all dying. But the point is, we had to worry about the other. Well, we had to send our stuff off for about 2 weeks at a time to get it before we'd get back. So it'd take that long. Well, now, once this is built, we'll do it right here in right South Mississippi, and we'll do it in hours and not days. So that's going to be a great deal for us. Any questions on that? March the 12th, I spoke to the Gulf Blue Economy. It's a networking group, and I tell you what, it's very neat. If you haven't been to one of those, I don't know if they'll be doing any. They'll start back up soon, but they have these meetings, and it's on a like Thursday night or Wednesday night. I can't remember what Wednesday night, I think. But they have the meetings there at the Gulf Blue Center, which is the old Mississippi Power building and downtown. And so they have that. It's an area where the power company had their part of their group there. But anyway, long story short, we got to talk to a lot of people, a lot of different groups that are doing work in the Gulf. And we had quite a few of them come to us, and they've already set up meetings with us, and they want to talk to us about their product and what they're being able to do, how they can map the Gulf, how can they do this, how they can do something else to help us. We got something they're working on, and we're going to talk with them about for Marine Patrol. And it's to be able to put a drone that we can put, and Marine Patrol can operate that drone. And now we can really get a situation to where we can see below a boat and above a boat and everything else, and we can see what we need to do, and we can be able to pick up. The biggest thing I think about that is when someone drowns, and if we're able to find them. And this is a big thing for us to be able to help that, and it's going to be huge, and they're not that expensive. So we're going to be able to find out some good stuff. So if you ever get a chance to talk to the Gulf Blue people, get good people to talk with. June 24th, 25th, we got the first annual Governor's Fishing Tournament. It's going to be called the Governor's Seafood Classic, I think, fishing tournament. It's going to be held at the Golden Nugget. We're going to fish for snapper. It's going to be a snapper tournament. And so it's a fundraiser for the foundation, for our part of the foundation, to be able to put some money in it, for us to be able to do scholarships and be able to do other projects that we'd like to do, and help underprivileged children, and just teach kids how to fish in general. And it's a lot of things that we can use the money for. So, you might get hit up by me. You might get hit up by one of the others for the sponsorship of anything on it. If you want to, we'd appreciate it. If you don't, we understand. I can tell you we're looking at somewhere around 50 fishermen that we're going to have to be able to be there. We should be able to get the information out here soon, but we're going to go out and have a good time. We'll put about 6 people on a boat and have a tournament, and pick the top 2 fish on that boat against the top 2 fish on the next boat against whatever. And so we're going to have a good time, and it'll be a good thing, and it's our very first one. So if hopefully if you get a chance, you can come back and be a part of it with us, because we're going to have a good time. And it'll start on a Tuesday night. We'll have a reception, and then on Wednesday it'll be the tournament, and then Wednesday night we'll have another reception. So it'll be a good deal. Our derelict vessels, we have 180 that have been reported to us right now. 161 of them have been removed. Isn't that amazing? 19 pending, and 7 are in court. So I tell you what, show me anybody in the Gulf doing anywhere close to that. I don't think you'll see it anywhere. We're holding our head way above everybody else on what we're doing there. Now, let's see. I got to go to actions update. Before we do that, let's do the employment contracts. Okay, Cat Glover got promoted, and then Christina, did I see you? Oh, she did. Well, Christina left and came back with us, so we got Christina back. So that's a great deal for us. So we're glad to have her back, because she was very big and very talented in what she did, and had a lot of experience with us. And she went to the Fed side and decided she's coming back to the state side. I don't blame her. Come on back over here to the good side. So anyway, any questions on those? All right. No contracts. So now, Stephen, are you the one doing? Agency update,
Yes, Director.
actions update?
Yes, Director. Good morning. Discussed at the February 2025 meeting was the commission recommended and the director approved a staff recommendation to establish a no-wake zone for the proposed Wolf River Bridge and boat launch at Minge Avenue. In addition, there was a recommendation and director approved a permit requested by MDMR for the filling of coastal wetlands for a submerged artificial reef located approximately 2 miles north of Petty Boy Island. And that is the actions update from our last meeting.
Okay. Any questions? Mr. Chairman, I think I'm through.
Thank you for the information, Director. Good work on the legislation. I think the labeling our seafood local is very important to our seafood economy here. And I'm looking at the guys next to me. I'm wondering if we can get us a team in on this Governor's Classic. All right. Any reports from the commissioners today? Okay. Office of Marine Patrol. That looks like Captain.
Okay. Hey, good morning. Yeah, I'm gonna fill in for the big guy today. He's had a previous engagement with the dentist, so he's gonna be dealing with that for the first part of the morning. Hopefully, if everyone's had a chance to review the report, the citations that were issued for the month of February were pretty much in line with the seasons and the things that were open at that particular time and what we were doing. Our stop count, as always in the wintertime, is going to decrease just a little bit. For the month of February, we still had 703 stops. That's active engagements with customers, fishermen, commercial or recreational. But for the year, we're at 13,751 stops, and that's based on a fiscal year. And if you look at that, we're only 1,300 stops away from surpassing last year's. And last year's was a surpassing of 23, and 23 was surpassing of 22. So our guys are working hard continuously, always out there trying to make sure the resources are protected, and we're also educating. So I'll take any questions that you may have. Nope.
Questions? Appreciate everything you guys are doing. And I know you're about to get really busy.
Yeah. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Moving on down to Public Affairs, Ms. Charmaine.
Good morning. The Mississippi Department of Marine Resources had 8 media mentions since the February MACMR meeting. News items included MDMR tagged fish, gray triggerfish season opening, and the Mississippi legislature assessing a seafood labeling policy. Marine Patrol participated in career days for Gaucher Elementary School on February 21st and Pass Christian Middle School on March 14th. And then in the Office of Coastal Resources Management, Lauren Kegley and Alicia Caron participated in STEMFest at Infinity Science Center on February 22nd, and Thomas Butera participated in Streaming the Coast at Infinity Science Center on March 1st. Both groups educated attendees on invasive species and coastal preserves in Mississippi. CRM's Allison Faggard gave a classroom talk on marine science at East Central High School on March 11th. On February 27th and 28th, Office of Marine Fisheries Director Tracy Floyd, Marine Fisheries Technician Lindsay Hoy, and the NEAR's Cassie Porter, Brianna Andrews, and Elizabeth Moore participated in the 2025 Regional Science and Engineering Fair at USM in Long Beach. The first day was held for junior high and high school students, and the second day was for elementary school students. Some MDMR staff assisted with judging overall projects, while others helped judge entries that qualified for the MDMR Excellence in Marine Science Awards. So this is Gulfport High School 9th grader Lily Congleton. She won the upper grades MDMR award for her project Gulf of Mexico Dead Zone, which explores the marine impacts of excess nutrients in our waterways and considered alternatives to reduce the resulting Gulf Dead Zone. And then here we've got Ella Kenny, a 4th grade student at Oak Grove Elementary School in Hattiesburg, was distinguished with the MDMR's lower grades award for her project, Plant Buoyancy, testing different plant materials as flotation alternatives to plastic to help prevent potential damage to our coastal and marine ecosystems. So Brianna Andrews also participated in the On the Road program March 12th at East Central Upper Elementary and the Kids 101 program at the Mobile Boat Show on March 16th with Elizabeth Moore. Finfish Bureau scientists James Klein and Kyle Wigington participated in the Mississippi chapter of the American Fisheries Society 51st annual meeting in Starkville, February 26th through the 28th. At the meeting, James presented winter storm-induced fish kill in Mississippi, impacts and next steps. And then here we have the aquaculture hatchery participating in the St. Jude Bass Tournament held in D'Iberville this weekend. They assisted in caring for and releasing the fish caught in the tournament.
Looks like we got some future staff and leaders for the department on some of those slides. Any questions, Commissioner Hartman? Thank you very much for the update. All right, moving down under Office of Marine Fisheries, it's like Jason Ryder and an update to the oyster season. Or not Jason today? Ellen.
Oh, okay. Good morning again, Director and Commissioners, and Sandy and Stephen. I'm Ellen Coffin, not Jason Ryder. Today I'm going to go over a shellfish update. Okay, let me see here. Okay. So this is just an overview of the 2024-2025 season. It hasn't changed too much, obviously. The last date we were open was February 14th, and we closed February 16th due to river stages. We had the Western Reefs open, all permitted areas in the Western Mississippi Sound except our state reef boundaries. We had tonging and dredging. Tongs were 15 sacks per boat per day, and dredging was 20 sacks per boat per day. And our total number of sacks harvested to date is 7,376. These are pretty much close to last month's. We have average sacks per day of the days that we were open, 175. Total licenses sold to date, 160. 9 recreational, 78 in-state commercial dredge, 32 in-state commercial tong, 36 out-of-state tong, and 5 out-of-state dredge. The number of licenses that we're actually harvesting was 83, and then the average tongers per day was 11, and the average dredgers per day was 12. And the main area fish was 2F and 2E. So this is just an overview of our Pearl River gauge and what we've been dealing with for the past month or since the last closure on February 16th. So we were last open February 15th. We closed on February 16th due to river stages increasing. It increased for 9 days and then crested on February 25th, and the river remained high and started to decrease slowly. We took water samples on March 6th, which was 9 days post river crest. Unfortunately, the samples were above our opening criteria for shellfish safety, and we could not open any area. So starting on March 8th, the river began to rise until cresting on March 12th. As previous samples showed, with the river being high for an extended period of time, the flushing rate of the fecal coliform would take longer. So today, or this is a screenshot from yesterday, but yesterday we were at 12.5 feet with trending upwards again with an anticipated crest at 15.1 feet on March 22nd. We're also monitoring salinity in that area near Henderson Point, and on February 16th we were at 16 parts, and today we were at 8 parts. So you can see that there has been some influences from the river based on the salinity as well. Okay, so I just wanted to go over our management plan and just give an example. So each year our water sampling program goes through an FDA evaluation based on our current and past water sample results. Those results determine our fecal coliform thresholds in each classification based on our river and rainfall. These samples are statistically analyzed to incorporate water quality, river, rainfall, fecal coliform levels, and then climate and seasonal changes. So I've provided an example above for our area 2E, F, and G that shows our evaluations that we had performed. As you can see, we are required to pull the fecal coliform samples from not just the current year, but our past years. And this was reviewed in October, just before our opening. The geometric mean, which you see in the middle, is basically an average that minimizes any extreme values or outliers to provide a more accurate and stable representation of long-term water quality. So we also do have our current molluscan shellfish growing waters management plan available on our DMR website. And of course, we are happy to answer any questions or to address clarifications or concerns. This is a big statistical database, so if I went into detail, your eyes would probably glaze over. So with that being said, do you have any questions?
I will say that I feel like the documentation is extremely important, and you guys are contemporaneously doing that day to day, and it's just helps for the future of the shellfish fishery. So appreciate that.
Absolutely. Thank you.
One thing, I know we get a lot of questions, and I know some of the oystermen right now are like, gosh, we wish you'd open this thing back up for us. And we wish we could. But, I talked to several of you about it, and the situation is when that river crests, and which it did again over the weekend, I mean, all this rain that's come in here, it just seemed like every Friday or Saturday we're going to get rain. And that's what's happening. And when it does, if a lot of it is north of us, it causes the river to crest and to rise. And when it rises, we have no choice. And when it gets above a certain stage, what is it, 11 feet or 12 feet? Yeah, and then once when it crests and it starts down, then we can start sampling and start looking at it. After about 3 or 4 days, and we can start looking. Is that right? 3 or 4.
We typically do 3 to 4 days. However, because the river has been so high for so long, that flushing period takes longer than what it would be if it were to go from 11 to 12 and then back down in a couple of days. But because we've been at like 14 and higher for so long, it takes longer to flush.
Right, and but we're doing everything we can, and I tell you, I can promise you that they'd rather open it than sample it every day. And
Absolutely.
To open it would be a lot less work on them, and it would be a lot better for them to be able to do that. So I want you to know we're trying every way in the world we can, and I don't see a reason right now that maybe these rains will quit here shortly, and we'll be able to continue, and we're going to continue to do this, and we're going to continue to be open probably into March and in April even, and so we're going to try to do what we can to see what happens, and we thank you, Ellen, and thank y'all for what you're doing. Y'all doing a great job.
Thank you. Trevor, skiff endorsement.
So I don't have a presentation on this one, but I will say we received a request to look into endorsing something like this. We came up with language on Thursday and had conversations with staff and everybody else. I worked on the language over the weekend trying to update it. We got to the point where we got the presentation together to review and go through, and there were some things that came up that needed some further evaluation and attention. And Matt was a part of those discussions yesterday, so he's got some of at least a few of the considerations that we had to kind of go through and further. So that's kind of where we're at with this one. We've got some language, we've got an idea of it, but it needs a little bit more further evaluation and discussion before we go down the road of notice of intent and everything else.
Yeah, one of the things, obviously, is something new to us, and it's something that's going to take a little bit of time to look at. We thought we could do it pretty quickly, but it just seemed like every time we opened up one can, 2 other cans opened up behind it. So we got to make it work, and the staff's working very hard to do it. Hopefully, we'll have something for you. It's whatever we can do, and I think Commissioner Roberts, I think you're the one that brought this up to us. So if you want to make any kind of motion or anything for us to do.
Yes, sir. I was just going to basically make a motion that recommends the staff to evaluate the possibility of establishing a charter skiff license or endorsement similar to what the neighboring states or Louisiana has in place existingly.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Trevor.
Yeah, this is, if for ones that trying to figure out what's going on with this, it's a skiff endorsement means that you would be able to have a charter boat, kind of like these head boats that are working now, and they go out into the chandeliers, and they take, 8 or 10 boats with them, and they put the skiffs out in the water, that we would be able to do something like Louisiana right now charges so much per person, for the skiffs, and they have to have a license, obviously for the other, but we're just trying to work it out, and we've got some interest in Mississippi to do it. And, and why not? It'd be great. We'll get more people fishing and more people catching stuff and enjoying it. So it just takes us a little bit of time, but appreciate it.
Yeah, and that's just working through the framework. Our license framework between Louisiana and us is just slightly different. So there's just some nuances there that we're going to have to evaluate and push through. But the director's correct.
Thank you, Trevor. Miss Aisha Gray, Grand Bay National.
Hello, good morning. I want to remind everyone that the Celebrate the Gulf Marine Education Festival is happening on April 5th. It's in War Memorial Park in Pass Christian. It's a lot of fun. We have a lot of live exhibit. There's a lot of hands-on things. We have many, many partners that come to this and that do all kinds of things. As part of this festival, we also had a contest for our poster that and we do this every year. And so the poster winner, this is the winning poster, and our poster winner is here today. It's Mr. Jerry Buckner. And so I'd like to introduce Mr. Jerry Buckner to the commission and present him with a framed copy of the poster.
Thank you.
Yeah, and and if we can get a picture, yeah. Thank you so much. Mr. Buckner will be at the festival signing posters for people that come. The poster design is also used on the t-shirts that we provide for volunteers, so everybody understands like who's part of the festival, and we hope that you'll come and bring your families.
Nice work.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, Christina did show back up, but we want to tell her thank you for coming back. You found out the grass wasn't as green on the other side. So we don't mind letting you come back in our field with us. We love to have you. Thank you very much. And Commissioner, I saw some fishermen came in. I don't know if they had any comments or not because we didn't. We had stuff that happened prior to that. Did anybody have any issues? Any comments from anybody?
We have a distinguished gentleman in the back, Roll Tide. Just wanted to point that out.
He is he's trying to do that just to get to where he won't be able to do anything in Mississippi.
All right. We'll appreciate everybody coming out. Thank you, department, for all the good information. And I guess if we have a motion to close.
Motion.
Second.
Before we close, and Auburn is a number 1 seed.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
What?
You just had to get that on the record.
Dog talk? What is that?
What did you have on the back? Did you have 2?